This is the fun part. We've been talking all day.
Yeah, I think we've already said all the good stuff.
I know.
Anyway, welcome, Calexico. Band sounds great. Joey Burns, welcome back.
Thank you.
Man, oh man, I think about the, the evocative nature of your songs and Calexico's sound, and it does, people say it all the time, but it does has a sense of place. And yeah. I know the last time you were here, you'd been recording in Mexico for that record. This one, I think you did a bunch of recording in Northern California, right?
Right.
I'm not really hearing that place in this record.
Really? Hey, John, we should go back to the studio. I think we got to do some remixing.
No, but what I am hearing is, I guess what I am hearing is a freer record. It feels like you guys were just taking chances and having fun in the studio and seeing what happened.
It's sort of idiosyncratic, I mean, it's like, as Americans and as a Canadian American, I feel like it's okay. And also, I gotta say, I'm 51, so I feel like it's cool to let your freak flag fly, And that's why I like being on the show with you, because you bring that out in me.
If not now, when? Right? You gotta do it. Not now, when? Now's the time. It's cool, though. There's some atmospheric stuff. There's some sort of slightly ominous, guitar or trumpet swells and sort of chromatic flares. I don't know what to even call them, but it's really cool. It's
we call them chromatic flares.
Yeah, chromatic flares. Yeah, of course you do. Yeah, but it suits the tenor of the songs. It suits the lyrics certainly, because you're writing. It's a challenge to write about the time we find ourselves in right now, and to present art that is going to be engaging and positive and yet, honest.
There's so much. It's overwhelming, right?
Yeah.
And so as I started writing some ideas at home, I asked a friend of ours who lives in Spain, I say, how do you do it? How do you write your songs with a house full of 3 boys who are constantly, doing stuff, making noise, and being kids, He goes, well, I just record right there in the middle of it. So I started recording some demos, and now my demos are these cherished sort of memories in time of my kids.
Little family time capsule.
And I love it. And in fact, one of the songs, too, is called Girl in the Forest. And I said, okay, girls, here's this song. And I kind of made up the chords right there on the couch with Twyla and Genevieve. And I said, let's go in the kitchen and let's write the words. And so we worked at it for a long time. And they, of course, were like, Dad, it doesn't have to be about demonstrations and protests and all these heavy things.
It was sort of about Standing Rock, right? Inspired by Standing Rock?
That was for sure what I was thinking. Yeah. I was inspired by that.
They're thinking and they're just something thinking, more fun.
Why can't it just be about the girl talking to the animals in the forest? And that's where they're at. And so, they take full ownership of that.
They're so smart.
They really
Kids
are.
Yeah.
And
I'm sure yours are.
And my wife said, I think this record really is just about home. And when I went to Northern California with John and Scott to lay down some basic tracks and to kind of distill all of the ideas that were, floating around, it reminded me of growing up in California. I grew up in Southern California.
Right.
But here we were right near John Muir National Forest. And I was just thinking about, what would it be like to be a kid now, right here? Mm-hmm. And so it felt to me when we took a walk by the cliffs and looking out over the blue ocean of the Pacific, it felt like we were stepping through the lens of a Wes Anderson film. And so from there, I felt like, well, if he can put everything and anything into his films, surely we can do the same.
Yeah.
And so the journey began.
Hence the freak flag.
Hell yeah.
No, it's good. And I don't know, when you listen to music, when you listen to a record, Joey, do you think in terms of references? Does your brain sort of automatically say, "Oh, that's cool. That reminds me of this," or "That reminds me of that"? I mean, I have a hard time just really immersing myself in a song and not thinking about, or at least sort of just noticing as I'm going through. Oh, that sounds sort of Beatles-ish, that change, or that something sounds like. Did you do that?
Yeah, totally. I mean, and I think that's why I am a self-proclaimed frustrated ethnomusicologist. because I love the connections.
Right.
And I travel a lot, and so I get to see and hear a lot. And I love finding those things. And even if it comes up, like, oh my God, if somebody says, that sounds exactly like the beginning of either U2 or David Bowie, I'm like, cool.
Yeah. I heard this stuff that I was thinking, I don't think there's another band that could do this, but I was hearing this stuff that sounded a little like the Talking Heads on a song, and another one sounded like Los Lobos, and another one sounded like the Velvet Underground, and another one sounded like this weird spaghetti Western instrumental, and another one actually made me think about Marty Robbins meets Chad and Jeremy. I mean, that's just like, not many records can bring all of those pieces together and still actually hang together and feel like a record.
Well, I'm so glad that we're still hanging here.
Yeah.
Because,
And I didn't offend you with any of those references.
Not at all. I love it.
All right.
I love the references. And you're right. I want to agree with you on that statement.
Okay.
Checking off the list. But I think that that's one of the reasons why the European audience tends to appreciate this sort of eclectic nature that we've been investing in for so many years.
Yeah. In case you just tuned in, you're listening to eTown here with Joey Burns from Calexico. We were talking about the European audience. You guys tour in Europe a lot. It's interesting because that's a whole world where borders are both now more and less important in different ways. What do you think it is about that multiculturalism that they just get what you do and what you're aiming towards when you're there?
Well, the way I tell my friends is that over in Europe, when you wake up and you have a coffee, and Europeans, they have, along with their coffee, they have culture. And here in the United States, when we wake up and have our coffee or our big gulp, we have commercials. And that is a big difference, but it is true.
Yeah.
It is funny, too. I laugh at it all the time. But you know what I mean?
Do you amuse yourself often, Joey? No.
Well, I have to do this quite a bit,
yeah,
and John has taken the oath of like, you just do it.
You just do it.
You go out there and just enjoy it.
Well, I mean, I'm thinking about, well, first of all, in Greece, you have a particular connection to the Greek people.
You want to know why?
Yeah.
Because there was this song that we're going to play a little later on called Stray that was used as a theme song for a TV show, kind of like a reportage TV show, and we didn't know it. But this song became really popular because of this TV show.
Wow, in Greece.
And no one asked permission to use it.
Did they ever pay you anything for it?
Eventually we got an invitation to go to the journalist, now turned restaurateur politician, to his restaurant, and he showered us with the most amazing meal and
that was that
conversation.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's cool.
Well, I noticed that you didn't leave it there. You also embraced. There's a band, a Greek band that's you've worked with, and you actually learned some Greek. You sang in Greek when you played at the Parthenon.
Yeah.
Oh no, the Acropolis.
The Acropolis.
You played at the Acropolis. You and of course
all these guys.
Yanni.
And and the Foo Fighters.
And the Foo Fighters. Not a lot of people have played the Acropolis.
And you want to know something that's kind of interesting? So, it's a big place, and I was starting to tell you at lunch earlier today that when you walk, when we agreed to do the show, I thought, piece of cake, whatever, outdoor amphitheater. We've done a couple of those, but then you walk through this massive It's a Roman-built amphitheater. There's these massive arches that feel like you're going to be fed to the lions or something. I'm like, oh no, this is it. This is heavy.
Yeah.
And then you look up and you see 4,000 people, and then you look over the people and you see this looming orb, and that is the Acropolis. It's incredible.
Amazing.
And so our promoter there, Dimitra, said, you should do this song that Sophia Loren did, Tinafto Putalena. And I said, okay. And she suggested a friend of hers to help sing it, to kind of guide me along. And then I asked our friends in this band that you were talking about, Takim.
Takim, yeah.
They go, yeah, we play this at weddings, no problem. You want it fast or slow? Slow, please. And we did it 2 nights, and the first night was really good. Because, when you're nervous and you do that first take.
That's all I ever get is first takes.
That's why I love you.
Yeah.
I love hanging out with you and playing, and it's so much fun.
Well, listen, I do want to talk about two more serious things. The thing that you alluded to about European culture being sort of both ancient and integrated into their life, their daily life. You chose to live in Tucson. Tucson, I think of as a town that similarly got this rich cultural history that's ingrained into the day-to-day life, and you've embraced it. You've been there for more than 20 years. I don't know how long, but you've been there a long time. And there is, of course, you're near the border. So this whole talk about the border and the wall and all that stuff, does it feel particularly amplified? I know. John lives in El Paso, which is another border town. Does it feel like a more tangible thing to you guys, or is it just the same in the news cycle that we hear about?
Well, the news cycle on all sides of the fence is all about getting your attention and money from sponsors, right? You know that. You all know that, and you know that. I know that, right? So you have to glean. You have to go to, AP or something just to get some basic facts, because everything else is just heated up. The border is cool. I mean, I don't really want to tell too many people because I want to keep it kind of, not so popular down there.
It's funny.
But it's the best because you have this blend of richness of culture and diversity, and that is the spice of life. That is the beautiful thing. That's why we're here.
Yeah. I was talking with a friend yesterday, and he was on a panel discussion, and somebody said, "What do you think about the wall?" And he said, "About the wall, the border wall?" He said, "I think you all should learn Spanish." He said, "Look, let's talk about what Mexico has brought us. I mean, it's music, it's food. Mexican people love families, they love religion. Texas and Arizona and New Mexico and California all used to be part of Mexico. In fact, I don't know why you people are so fascinated with Jamestown being the first American settlement when Santa Fe was settled 100 years before that. Just learn Spanish and embrace it because it's so cool. The cowboy comes from Mexico. Everything we love comes from Mexico." So that was his response. I'm not saying...
That's great.
Yeah.
I mean, why don't we just learn some indigenous languages too? Because they were here first.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be less practical.
Yeah. But more significant. Or why don't we just say, hey, you know what? We are really sorry as the U.S. government. And here is just, first of all, the first of many things. Let's apologize to the people. Let's apologize as a government and as a people for the treatment of so many people, you know, and embracing culture. Fear is a funny thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, and as your kids know, the way to figure this out is to listen and to imagine being connected to everything and to have love lead the way.
Yeah. So, what are we going to do?
How about those three things?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay.
I mean, as a parent, it's all about letting go.
Yeah, more so as they become teenagers.
I'm getting ready.
Yeah.
I'm getting ready.
You got a ways to go, Joey. What are they, 8 years old now or something like that?
Almost.
Yeah, almost 8.
Yeah, almost.
Okay. Good luck. You're in for a good ride. Listen,
can I call you about?
Yeah, you
about
can call me.
stuff?
I've got 3 girls. They've been through every phase.
That's cool.
Yeah. Meanwhile, speaking of going through every phase, I want to once again recommend your record. The record is really interesting, and it covers a lot of ground, and it creates these sonic landscapes that are they hold together, and they it took me on a journey that was really, really good. And so,
well, I'm so glad.
Yeah, congratulations.
It means a lot to me in the band.
Well, the
that you
band
got
sounds
into it.
great. I was just going to say the band sounds great, and hearing these songs live is so cool too. So I know it's a love fest, and we could be more confrontational, but
Whatever
it ain't
you
going to
want.
happen. Yeah.
To be continued.
Yeah, I think our ratings are going to stay the same no matter what we do. It's going to be fine.
You should bring Joni Mitchell on the show.
That's a good idea.
Just to talk and
Yeah.
show her paintings.
Okay.
I was talking to Donna, and we had this idea.
Yeah.
We'll tell you about it later.
Okay. Would a golf announcer describe her paintings to the radio audience?
I think it would be great.
Over here, there's a small magenta section.
You could provide the soundtrack. We would come and help you.
Okay, we're going to edit that part out for sure.
Smart idea.
Ladies and gentlemen, would you please welcome back Calexico. Hi, this is Nick Forster from eTown. If you want to stay up to date with all the performances, interviews, and behind-the-scenes footage, click the subscribe button. Thanks.